Like that's the other thing.
Sure, yeah.
It's a mess. It's a mess. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't like some like badass fucking like I wasn't like wiping people out with like my bayonet or anything. I was an officer who called a lot of airstrikes and killed some folks and some people who didn't deserve it. Frankly, I don't even really want to go into that. Like it's like a whole thing. Like, I mean, yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I've been responsible for strikes that kill people who were civilians. I mean, you're careful. You think you're careful. You think you're good at your job. You hit a corner apartment building with an Apache Hellfire missile because there's a sniper in it, and you think you're doing the right thing, and then it collapses. Right, like one apartment. Who's responsible for that? Is the pilot? No, the guy who called it is more responsible, right? Anyway, so you just you live with that, and it's not like I was some victim who did a me lie or something, or not that person would be a victim, but I'm not trying to overplay the woe is me sensitive soldier, but you do deal with that. You're the guy with the radio. You're the guy who's responsible for planning the mission, and so when your guys die or you kill others, there's certainly that component of guilt, responsibility, and I think that most of us. I know most Americans don't really think about that. Don't think about the fact that, even forget about the ones we killed directly, but more Iraqis were killed in the streets in the Civil War of November 2006 than died on 9/11. And I don't think most Americans really care about that. I mean, forget about the 85,000 starved to death Yemeni children, et cetera. But I don't think we grapple with that. I don't think we even have enough. I think there's an empathy gap. We have empathy ADHD too. I don't even think we care. We don't, and I'm talking polite liberals don't really care. Park Slope liberals who will tell you how bad Trump is and that they're citizens of the world. I'm not. I don't believe in countries. I'm a citizen of the world. No, they don't care. They do not care about refugees, Palestinians or Iraqis or whatever.
So last I checked, the left cared more about one demographic than any other in the world times 10, which is poor black people. Last time I checked, poor black people is what the left cared about more than anything in the whole wide world. As we're speaking, as you know, the United States is killing the poorest black people on the planet in Yemen and Somalia. Right. And during all these protests over the last many, many weeks, much of which I fully supported when it was against police brutality and state violence, you may have noticed that they imported every left-wing cause there is into those protests, except I haven't seen it.
Anti-war.
Except for anti-war. I haven't seen it yet. While we're killing, I thought Black Lives mattered, guys. While we're killing Black lives in Yemen and Somalia all the time.
I mean, it's
pathetic.
I wrote in a Tom Dispatch article, and I thought about not writing it. I wrote something because the anti-war veteran organizations I'm a part of, especially About Face and Veterans for Peace, which are pretty lefty, we not only we're not heroes or something, but as soon as this hit the streets, as soon as George Floyd took on, within a week, we were active and we shifted almost all of our effort to Veterans for Black Lives campaign, a sub campaign, and we were in the streets every day. I mean, people were in it more than me, but the first month I was in Kansas City 27 out of 30 days. Commuting to protests, and went to Tulsa, got kicked out of the rally. Some of us got arrested. And I wrote in this Tom Dispatch article about military dissent, which about how it's rising. I said, we stood up for these folks, and it's the right thing to do no matter what. And you should do things without the expectation of reward and all that yada yada humanist stuff that I believe in. But I said, I have my doubts at night when I'm feeling petty, but it's not petty that when it's our turn and we decide on a big campaign to get us out of the next war or get us out of Afghanistan, we are not going to get that support from the BLM community or any of these other causes. They're not going to be there for us.
Yeah. I was going to say, unless a Republican's doing it, but a Republican is doing it, and they're still not protesting. They're still not. Trump, the worst human being ever in history times 10, apparently, is doing it, and they're still not concerned about it. Donald Trump is killing poor black people, and they don't care about it.
No. Yeah, in Somalia, the casualties are up enormous amount. I wrote a piece about it that even got into Somali media a couple of months ago about how, our casualties are up and our strikes are up 1,200% in some cases, and it's not even news. Find it in the New York Times.
Have you have you written a piece directly attacking these protests for this? You should.
No, I haven't. I haven't gone there. It was in a concluding paragraph of a broader article where I said like I soft pedaled it, to be frank. I mean, I was weak. It was some weak sauce stuff, but I basically said like I have my suspicions, but it was kind of passive aggressive.
Maybe I'll do
But
it.
I think that I will have to write an article about like I don't know what I would call it. It would be something like, you know, intersectionality inverted or something, or
Nice.
like intersectional and name only or something.
Nice.
Because everyone talks about that phrase, and like all I'm saying is that about face and Veterans Peace, I'm not speaking for these organizations. I'm speaking for myself and what I've seen. Okay, because I have been asked to do spokesperson work, and I've got to be very careful. But like, it is factually and empirically true. But if you just go on their websites and their Twitter feeds, that they have stood up and really made this the focus. The members have, and like, we are intersectional. Like, we live what they, you know, they're all, that word is so popular now, and like I'm like whatever about it. Like, it's good, it's important, I understand, I'm not minimizing it, but I think sometimes these like buzzwords become more powerful than the meaning, but or they become more fake. But like, I'm just saying, like, we are intersectional, we live that, and I just don't see it happening. In the absence of a draft, in the absence of like serious corporate media reporting on these wars, we're not going to see people in the streets for the next lead up to war, or to end the ones that are going on, or for Yemeni children, or for Somali children, or for African Sahel children from the countries, in some cases, where the slaves were taken to the coast and brought to the Americas, who are now, you know, the police are, you know, suppressing. I mean, there's just like no sense of that, like that Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, or whatever you believe. If human lives matter, then when the empire kills and then sends the veterans, the broken veterans of those wars, into the police departments at higher rates than ever, where they shoot people in the streets and use their weapons 3 times as many as anybody else. This is all connected, and we don't talk about it, because if we talk about it, it's only in the interest of how it affects the communities that we're rallying for now, not how it affects the victims overseas. Like, that's absent. No talk of that.
Now, I will say it is hard to care a lot for people you never meet. And in fact, I think in a way we shouldn't care. And, you know, it's sort of it's the caring about these people in foreign lands that has gotten us into all these wars, right? That's how every war started, as you know, as a historian. Every single war started with some intellectual, and it was always an intellectual, saying, there's this country over there where there's bad people doing bad things to poor victim people, and we need to go. Every damn war from the Civil War on, right? Was just
the Cubans and the Spanish American War.
Everyone, right? Everybody. There's
Cuban lives matter, right?
Cuban lives matter. Yeah.
Independence. Not really.
Anyway, we need to deal with that.